It's really been a paradigm shift within funding, I'd say within the past 5 to 6 years.
Now with more limited resources, we have to try to use our money much more strategically and more wisely.
Funders really now are looking for different things. They're looking for quantifiable results.
We are not just choosing good projects to invest in, but we're choosing projects that will then beget other results.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
I think that oftentimes getting information out to people about grant writing is boring. So we were kind of looking for a new way to share information, make it a little more interactive and a little more lively, and thus the Shark Tank was born.
The idea was to have some kind of an interactive and fun session about having really good proposals. So we put together a panel, just like the Shark Tank program, of funding program managers to be our sharks and volunteers who will pitch their programs and their projects, and they'll be able to get some really quick feedback.
It was a fun activity, definitely, and provided some real good information on fine-tuning our applications for grants and good suggestions.
I did see a lot of familiar ground covered in the different pitches that were presented, stream restorations, environmental education programs, but I was also struck at a couple elements and a reoccurring theme in focusing on how our interventions in a watershed protection space can create access and open up access to our rivers and streams for recreational use, and in particular open them up for recreational use to constituencies and communities who face unique barriers to access. In this case, veterans and folks that are dealing with a handicap.
Patriots Cove is a nonprofit organization for veterans and the environment. We were pitching the expansion of Patriots Cove to improve and repair all 4.5 miles of the Beaver Run waterway that we are a part of. Patriots Cove is 3/4 of a mile of stream that we've already repaired in 2017 and 2018, and so we're looking forward over the next couple of years to making sure that all 4.5 miles of waterway is as clean as we can make it.
I think people tend to not understand the value of telling a complete story. Once you get the money, the job's not over with. It's really about telling the story of what you did with that money and developing that funding relationship.
Focusing on the data, making sure we have everything, and focusing on fully understanding the impact for everyone.
No one is doing this work alone. Drop some names, talk about your partners, who are you doing this in collaboration with, who else is endorsing or supporting, even submitting a letter in support of the project you're taking on.
Some people think that maybe they're just a little too humble to brag, but it's very important to brag.
There's no room for self-deprecation in your proposals. Your organization is the only organization capable of taking on this project, the best equipped, the most ready.
I like to make the analogy that it's kind of like putting yourself on Match.com or your first day at the Combine for the NFL football draft. You want to put your best foot forward, and you do that by telling a good story and then following up.
The follow-through is probably the most critical point. You know, we get the support, but we need to show that we're getting things done.
You want money from a funder, but that funder wants to know that their funds are being leveraged. They're not going out on this limb all by themselves. If we think about our projects as instruments, and we're craftsmen putting together this instrument, I think there's a natural tendency to get very involved and caught up and excited about the finish on the instrument or the tension or the wood that you're using to craft that instrument, and we can forget that really it's about creating beautiful music.
I would encourage anybody else who wants to do it to give it a shot. It's a good training ground, definitely.